Good morning. I'm State Representative Sue Shear from the 96th District, and I am here with our new superintendent for Rochester, which is part of Sangamon County near Springfield, for those of you not familiar with that. So Superintendent Cox started in, I believe, May at Rochester, and we're going to meet and have some questions today that he has been so gracious to be ready to do a Zoom meeting with us, and hopefully this will be helpful to parents in the community and thereby also making it a little easier for the teachers to figure out. I know everyone has a million questions this year and it is a very unusual start to a year, but thank you for being with us, Superintendent, and we will just start right in, I guess. If you want to say a little about your school district first, otherwise we just wanted to start out with when's the first day of school.
Well, first, thank you for having me. I always appreciate the opportunity to answer questions and talk about our school districts and the good things going on. Of course, it goes without saying it's incredibly challenging times right now, but there's still wonderful things happening in our schools, and our teachers are ready to go. And it's going to be a different year, but it's going to be a good year. We are located just right outside of Springfield, a district of 2,200 people, a unit district for those of you that may not be familiar with Rochester Schools. And our first day with teachers was last Thursday. They had Teacher Institute days Thursday and Friday, and we've been using remote learning planning days this week. So our teachers have been in the district and working toward getting ready to go with remote learning, which students start on Monday.
Okay, so this coming up Monday is their first day. And will it be virtual or will it be in person or a hybrid of the both? Or
we are starting full remote. One difference that I've wanted to stress with parents this year is that remote learning in the fall will look much differently than it did in the spring. In the spring, we were in what I would call crisis mode, and most campuses, including ours, were closed completely. There was no activity. And this fall, we will still have an active campus. We're looking for ways we can get our students on campus as quickly as we can and as safely as we can, either individually or in small groups for short periods of time, to provide special services, to provide any type of interventions, access to internet, things of that nature that we'll be communicating with parents as we move forward and figure out what procedures are working and what procedures we may need to adapt and adjust on.
all right. So it's full virtual. They start this coming up Monday. And will the teachers be working from home or will the teachers be at the school?
Our teachers will all be at the school. They've been here since we started last Thursday, and as we move forward, they will continue to be here during the school day.
Oh, okay. So the teachers will be there all day, every day.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the students? Will they be interacting with the teachers through Zoom or?
So we have this year, new to Rochester, we're using the Canvas Learning Management System, which will house all of our different educational tools that we use, so parents only have to go to one place. One thing we heard from last spring was that there was if you had different kids and different schools within the district, everybody was using something different and parents had to learn different platforms. So we've housed that all under the Canvas Learning Management tool for them.
Okay, so what about this? Will the teachers be recording and posting videos of daily instruction, or like, do you have a schedule planned out or?
Yes, we have our remote learning plans. We have our district-wide remote learning plan, but there's also individual building logistic plans that we've sent to our parents, and they'll also be getting follow-up messages. They're getting those as we speak, I think yesterday and today, about what the different building schedules look like. But parents or teachers will be recording videos. They will also be doing live instruction, which will all be housed in the Canvas Learning Management platform. And students can participate live, but we've also made provisions that they don't have to. So we'll have a mix of live, but also on demand. If there's an instance where there's a connectivity issue and a student can't get on during that live time, they won't be penalized. Or if there's a family and families who live in our rural parts of our district who do not have good connectivity, and they need to come in and connect to our internet at a later time to download all their materials. And that's one thing with the Canvas system is once a family hooks to the internet, they can go anywhere and hook up to the internet. All of their assignments, all their videos will load, and they can do those at home without connectivity. We'll also be opening up our libraries during the day, and we'll have hours during the evening for families to come in on a scheduled time. We'll be scheduling hour blocks of time where they can double book it, so they could get up to 2 hours. We do have to limit numbers, but we will be providing library access to our facilities for families and students to use the internet.
Okay, and you're talking about the library, the newer library there in Rochester, I assume.
The school libraries, we're going
Oh, the school library, okay.
to start, we're going to open up during the day. All libraries will be accessible. Families will need to fill out a form to be able to schedule their time. Schools will be communicating that with them. In the evenings, the Rochester High School Library and the Rochester Intermediate School Library will be open, I believe, until 8 o'clock in the evenings. And that information will be going out to parents this week.
Okay, so then to reiterate, that is the, and I said that wrong, the school libraries.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, do the students need to log in by a certain time each day? I've heard a lot of parents have a lot of anxiety about that they're just not exactly sure what time their student should be ready for school and logging in.
So we are taking attendance, but it's going to look much different. It's more logging in. Parents will have a form from their school to ask them to log in that their students had checked in that day, that they had engaged in learning. If we don't hear back or we don't see that parents or students are checking themselves in, then we would be contacting them just like a normal school day to find out what's going on. But it will look different. There won't be hourly attendance. It'll be a once-a-day check-in that parents will get, and that's being communicated with them from their building principals.
Awesome, okay. So do they have, is there a set time that the whole school is starting as far as you expect everybody to log in at 8:15 or something, or?
No, it will be different per the building and per the age level. You know, we could ask, for example, one of our buildings, I believe it's the high school, is asking that students log in or check in by 9 o'clock in the morning. That being said, if they're unable to do that because the child's with a caregiver, they're helping their family with work, whatever that may be, we're asking that they do check in during that day.
Okay.
Yes, to show that they've been on their platform, checked in their assignments. We can also see in the Canvas management system, whenever our assignments, tests, videos are all assigned, we're able to track and see if they've actually participated or not, or completed those or watched those. And so if we see that there's a grade level or a building or an individual student or family that's having trouble with that, we can reach out and find out what the issue is and provide some assistance to help them.
That sounds great. When will their homework be due, and how will they go about communicating back to the teacher that they've done their work?
Again, I feel like I'm being repetitive, but it's really going to be very nice using the Canvas system. It's all there in that one spot. So we're able to load all their assignments, all their portfolios, projects, test quizzes can all go in there. So then we're able to see when they've completed it and not. We will have due dates. Individual teachers and their buildings will assign due dates. We will post, teachers will be posting their lessons ahead of time and more so than in normal circumstances, so parents and students can schedule throughout the week. There will be completion dates, but you'll look at those as more weekly than you would certainly daily. That being said, individual teachers have some flexibility to do what fits them. The biggest thing that we are practicing with this is, yes, there are due dates, but we have to be flexible and mindful of that, because there can be issues out of students' control that pop up whenever they don't have access to the school, especially the connectivity issues. So if a student had an issue with connectivity, and teachers are really good at what they do, and they know their kids, they know when kids are trying and making the effort, and if there's challenges, and if there are challenges, we'll help them.
Are you going to be using a traditional grading scale?
Yes, we are. We're still using the traditional grading scale that's in our handbook. And then it's a percentage letter grade scale for the majority of our districts. Our primary grade students, our K and 1 students, are on a standards-based scale.
And then will the test be proctored, or how will you do that?
So there's
I know that's
assessment looks,
a challenge.
yeah, assessment looks much different in the remote environment. While there are courses, especially our dual credit courses, our AP courses, some of our college now, there's different type of requirements for those because of the college credit. Yes, those certainly will be proctored. We will have more type of portfolio type of assessments and project type of assessments for students to do as well. As we move forward, we're hopeful that we can start getting students on campus for things like that in small groups for short periods of time to be able to take some of those assessments as well. But what we're focused on most is the students are actually learning the material, and there's different ways to assess that, both with formative and summative assessments.
Okay. I appreciate you just being bombarded with questions, but I know even though you're being redundant on some, the parents still have that question, and just knowing it's handled through there, I'm sure, is relieving anxiety. I hope anyway. Um, how can parents contact the teachers if
So
a parent has a question about their child's assignment or whatever?
yes, that's a great question. So all of our teachers' emails are on the school websites under the staff directory, and teachers will be available throughout the school day for questions. They will be instructing. They will be doing some live sessions like this with students, recording videos. So it may take them some time to get back, but they're certainly going to be accessible. We would encourage our parents to email the teachers directly with any academic questions, and they'll be more than happy and willing to help them. We also have I wrote this down so I didn't mess it up. We have a learning help desk and a technical support help desk that's going to be open 24 hours a day. Parents will not get an immediate answer on that, but they can email the technical support and the help desk to any questions they have, even academic questions. If they have that and they're not able to get a hold of their teacher, we'll get them to the right person. But also if they have trouble connecting to Canvas, they're having support with their computer, anything that they have that's a challenge to get their students, or the students are having challenges, they can email the help desk and we'll get them assistance within a day on that. So that's another thing we're trying to offer and keep lines of communication, because we know a lot of people will be sitting down to do these work with their children in the evening, and we won't be available. So that question, when it pops up, if you don't ask it right then and there, you may forget. So we just want them to have the opportunity to email us through the help desk.
That's awesome. Okay, what about the iPad or Chromebook situation? Are the families expected to provide their own, or do you have some, or how did that work?
I'm really, we already had a one-to-one program going here,
Okay.
but I am happy we've made the investment, and our Board of Education has been very supportive of the investment. Our one-to-one Chromebook program now goes through first grade. And
Wow.
for our kindergarten, so all students first grade through seniors in high school will have Chromebooks. I was actually helping pass the new ones out to some sophomores yesterday. That was a lot of fun to meet some students and families.
Yes,
That way, I had a few big eyes whenever I introduced myself to a few of the
I bet.
freshmen and stuff. But that was a good time, and we're doing that today. And today and the rest of the week throughout the district, we're passing out materials, kind of a drive-through style, if you will.
Uh-huh.
But also for our kindergarten, this is an important note for our kindergarten. Families are using their own devices. However, I want to stress to our families, if they do not have a device or need a device, we do have iPads available to check out to families for kindergarten students. And Mr. Reed, our principal at the elementary, has made that very clear, but please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we do have iPads to check out. The difference with the iPads is we don't have the same kind of, the Apple iPad doesn't have the same kind of monitoring software that we have on the Chromebooks. With the Chromebooks, we do have Go Guardian, so we're able to monitor what type of activity takes place. So if there's something that could be a student could get into that they're not supposed to, or a hacker from the outside would get in, we're able to monitor that. With the iPad, the parent needs to assist us much more.
Which in kindergarten would be hopefully happening anyway. So
Correct.
what about childcare? Are there any options through the district? I understand there's so much anxiety on parents' behalf about what to do about this. Are there any ideas being offered from the school district for parents who have to work and they don't know what to do with their kids?
We do not have any childcare at the district, but I do know there are some community organizations out there that are assisting with childcare, such as the YMCA is one that I'm familiar with that's assisting. I also know there's some maybe organic things popping up between parents where they're helping each other out. We will, whenever we make the transition back to in-person instruction, also we want to make sure we give parents plenty of time so they can plan. That's the biggest piece. Is there's so much unknown right now. We've had to build multiple plans here at the district. My own family, we've had to build multiple plans to decide what we're going to do under various circumstances. So we just want to communicate ahead of time so parents have time to plan.
Okay, so do you have any idea when you might quit remote learning? I mean, I know that's kind of a stupid question because none of us have any idea what the future holds, but
yeah, it's a great question, and one that is fluid. So that nothing I'm about to say is concrete, but this is our thought process, and I'm more than happy to share that. I've been talking to a lot of our families about this as well. As I stated at the beginning, we're looking to get students back to campus as fast as we can and as quick as we can, or as safely as we can. And part of how we're doing that immediately, we still have activities going on. I was watching a junior high softball game earlier this week, and those are small groups of students. We have less exposure through the day, and it's just a way for us to test and see how this is going. We'll open up our libraries next week where students individually or families can schedule time to come in, and then we'll start providing services. For example, our occupational therapy services, we may start providing those. Certain types of speech services, we could start providing those where it's small groups of students or individual students coming in. We would have our lab classes. Some of our advanced lab classes are talking about meeting once a week just for the lab with small groups of students. So we would gradually phase up and try to crescendo to that. But to get to the full 50% capacity, our next step would be hybrid, where our students would be at 50% capacity, meaning we would still be remote on Mondays, and then students would come in 2 days per week, split by alphabet. We're looking at doing that. If everything works well, we would do that by the start of the second quarter, which would require us around our midterm, about 4 weeks in, to be consulting with health professionals to get all the information we can and start communicating the plans to do that. If we can do that more quickly, we will. So I don't want to lock it in and say, absolutely, we're not going to do anything before, because we certainly, if we can move faster, we will. I also don't want people to be disappointed if things don't go well or conditions worsen. It could go longer.
Right. Okay. One last question. Is there any suggestions that you have of what we can do as parents or grandparents to help best support the teachers during this trying time?
One of the things we say here is we're rockets taking care of rockets. We're going to take care of each other so we can take care of our kids. And that applies to everyone, our school community, our families, all of our support staff, our teachers, our kids. We're all taking care of each other. There's a lot of unknowns here. Our teachers are really good at what they do. I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for that, but they want things to be perfect for the kids, and they want it to be the best, absolute best. I've been spending a lot of time this week talking to our teachers, and of course, there's a lot of anxiety for Monday to start because they want it to be a good start and they want things to be good for school. And so as parents, grandparents, and all of our caregivers who are helping our children and partnering with our parents, the big change with remote learning is that school is now, your home is an extension of our classrooms, and you've become our partners. I mean, you're our partners more than ever in that. So keeping lines of communication is open. Also grace and understanding on both sides, from school to home and home to school, that we're in a completely different environment with a complete different set of rules and norms, and that there will be mistakes made by everybody, and we'll offer grace and patience and understanding that we all have the best intentions and we want what's best for our kids. If there was nothing else that you would take away from what I'm saying, it's that, because I've seen it firsthand from parents. Talked to a lot of parents. They want what's best for their kids, and there's a lot of anxiety and frustration there. I get it. I'm a parent who's moving 2 children into the school district brand new. So I have my own anxiety as a parent of how that's going to go and how it's going to work. But each time I feel and I question, how is this going to happen? How are we going to pull this off? I have a meeting with our teachers. I have a meeting with our principals, our support staff, and they're just doing really incredible things for our kids, and they want the best for them.
I can't say enough of how pleased I am with the efforts on the parts of the teachers and the administrators. And from the bottom of my heart, I just, before we get off, I want to say thank you to you and to all the staff in my district. I just can't imagine trying to teach in these trying times. The start of the school year is full of enough anxiety, but to add this to the mix is just, wow. Okay, would you be able to give us like perhaps a phone number, an email? Who should parents contact if they do have any questions before school starts?
The best place, if they have building specific questions, they can contact their individual buildings or email their children's teachers. They're all getting emails. I know I received my first email as a parent yesterday from one of my son's teachers, and my other one's in high school. So he got all of his stuff yesterday with a lot of information about how to contact their teacher with questions specifically about class. If you have questions for your building principal, certainly you can do that, or you can reach us here at the district office. My email is dcox, D-C-O-X, @rochester3a.net. And also our district phone number is 217-498-6210. I will tell you the quickest way to get your question answered is going straight to the source for your teacher and principal, but I'm more than happy to answer questions too. And I typically try to make it a 24-hour turnaround. I'm getting quite a few questions right now, as you can imagine.
I bet.
So far, it's been really good dialogue with everyone, and it just maybe takes a day or so to get back to everybody.
Okay, so as a parent out there, if you are trying to get a question answered, and I can speak for this, having been a teacher for 35 years, the closer to the source, the more likely you are to get a quick, accurate answer. So if it's a question about a classroom, email the teacher. If it's more a building-wide question, go to your principal. And if it's more of a district-wide question, that's when you would go to your superintendent. So thank you for giving us that information.
One other thing for families to look for, we've done a few of these. They're called thought exchanges, where we submit a question out to our families, and it's just an organic thought exchange where they can ask questions and they can present ideas to us. We have done one thought exchange just asking families, what are your questions and concerns as we prepare for the start of the school year? This week, we're getting ready to launch another exchange specifically for remote learning. After they've received some information from their buildings, we're going to ask them, what are your questions surrounding remote learning? We'll go through the top rated questions and provide answers to those, and we email those back out to our parents. We do an FAQ document that we email back out to our parents, and those are also on our website. The FAQs, we have a COVID on our homepage of our website. It's COVID-19 resources, and there's a lot of information there. I encourage parents to check that. It's updated frequently. We also try to contact parents with emails anytime something new comes up or we update any of our resources.
Well, okay, I've got to get to Springfield for a meeting myself, and I really want to say thank you, Superintendent Cox, and you've answered a lot of specific questions for your school district, but I think you've really put a lot of minds at ease about this whole virtual learning throughout, whoever happens to be watching. I wanted to mention quickly, if anyone had a question for my office, you can call our office at 877-9636, or you can email us at staterepsue@gmail.com. Along with that, any other school superintendents who would like to do this kind of a Zoom meeting to help get the information out to your students, we'd be happy to do that. So thank you for participating and taking a lot of anxiety away from a lot of families. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, have a great year.